Your forecast first, sponsored by orthopedic surgeon Dr. Lawrence Lee. Minimum invasion, maximum result.
Good evening. I'm your local weather authority, Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates. Skies have cleared. We've got fresh snow on the ground, so of course temperatures, they're dropping. 13 in Peoria, nice view on the Brave Lost Center camera. It is a chilly 9 in Galesburg, 15 now in Bloomington. Through the rest of tonight, temperatures will be cold for at least another couple hours, but increasing clouds and even some light snow by tomorrow will allow those temperatures to warm up. We'll have that full forecast coming up. WMBD News at 10 starts now.
Tonight, an arson at Planned Parenthood and an arrest. We're taking a closer look at the man who we're told set the facility on fire.
Just being transparent with the public to earn their trust when critical incidents happen.
Also, searching for solutions, a recap of the town hall to discuss crime in Peoria. But first, discussing the future of the Peoria Rivermen.
Tonight, dozens filling the Peoria Civic Center Authority Board meeting with hopes of keeping the Rivermen hockey team right here in the city.
Our Brianna Rittman attended tonight's meeting and spoke with someone close to the Rivermen team. Brianna?
Mark, Shelby, fans of the Peoria Rivermen filled the room to express their concerns about the future of the team after learning the team's lease with the Civic Center is up after this season. At the meeting, the Capital Committee reported that it would cost $2.5 million to replace just the ice plant, not including the equipment it takes to manage the ice plant. The arena would need to be closed for 4 months for installation. However, there was no specific mention about the future of the Rivermen. Emily Hageman is the wife of the Rivermen's captain, and she was one of 12 who spoke during public comment.
They just won a championship, and we are now talking about potentially not renewing the contract. That feels like a slap in the face. The question comes next, what do you need from us as fans? Because I think there's a lot of people here willing to go the extra mile or do anything to keep them here.
After the meeting, I was told the board would not comment, and the next board meeting is in 1 month, and we'll see if any action is taken then. Mark, Shelby?
Thanks, Brianna. And we have new information about the man who allegedly set Peoria's Planned Parenthood on fire.
WMBD did some more digging into the 32-year-old man from Chillicothe, including reading up on his social media. In a Facebook post from 2 years ago, Tyler Massengill jokes about using rocks to smash Planned Parenthood. This comment is in the same thread with conspiratorial references about, quote, a nasty cable trying to overthrow the United States. He says, then goes on to say, I think we will all be called to fight for what we believe in, before making the comment about Planned Parenthood.
We went to the Peoria address listed in court documents, but the home appears to be abandoned. Massengill has been in and out of prison between 2008 and 2018. He was incarcerated for burglary in June 2008 and paroled July 2009. Then readmitted as a parole violator from June 2010 to December 2010. He was sent to prison again for theft in September 2016 and paroled in April 2017, then readmitted as a parole violator from October 2017 to January 2018. And since March of 2022, he's been on probation for aggravated assault and criminal trespass to a residence.
Planned Parenthood says the building has more than $1 million in damages, which will take months to rebuild. Massengill is facing up to 40 years in federal prison. Court documents show he told prosecutors that if even one person's services at Planned Parenthood were delayed, he says it was all worth it. Massengill is due back in federal court on February 1st.
New tonight, WMBD, WYZZ, WEEK, and WTVP all came together for a live town hall, United for Peace, searching for solutions. Our anchors and reporters asked community leaders pressing questions about crime and solutions. We heard from gunshot victims and relatives of people killed by gun violence. Law enforcement officials, community activists, and mentors shared their goals of reducing violence and their stories of hope. Peoria Mayor Rita Ali says preventing violence starts with getting to kids early.
Well, I think we have to equip our young people with conflict resolution skills, with anger management abilities. We have to help them to not choose to pull the trigger.
And our own Shelby Roberts was one of tonight's hosts. If you missed the special, you can watch United for Peace, Searching for Solutions on our website, ciproud.com.
In national headlines, here's a look at the booking photos for Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, Emmett Martin III, Desmond Mills Jr., and Justin Smith. They were all fired from the Memphis Police Department last week, and they're now all being charged with second-degree murder, aggravated assault, aggravated kidnapping, official misconduct, and official oppression. Nichols died January 10th, 3 days after a traffic stop near his home. His family has viewed video of the encounter, and they say Nichols was beaten savagely. The head of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation said today he's sickened by what he saw in the video, while the defense attorneys for two of the officers say this is traumatic for their clients too. Locally, Peoria Police Chief Erica Chevarria says they are monitoring the situation.
Continuing coverage of the lawsuits against the state's assault weapons ban. A gun shop in Naperville is the latest to challenge a city law against the sale of high-powered rifles. Law, Weapons and Supply has joined the National Association for Gun Rights in asking a federal court to strike down the law and prohibit Naperville's police chief from enforcing it. A statewide assault weapons ban is already being blocked by a temporary restraining order. Naperville's new law won't take effect until that constitutional fight is settled.
New at 10, Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul filed his initial argument to eliminate cash bail today. Illinois was set to become the first state in the country to get rid of cash bail, but state's attorney sued, saying the law violated the Constitution. The Illinois Supreme Court stopped it from taking effect pending an appeal. According to the Chicago Tribune, the appeal argues no part of the Constitution mandates money as a form of bail. It also says the state legislature is allowed to set policy in court matters. State's attorneys have until February 17th to file their response. The state Supreme Court is expected to hear oral arguments in March.
In the Twin Cities, a fraternity is suspended from Illinois State University's campus for hazing. We reached out to Greek Life Services, the Student Code of Conduct Office, the Dean's Office, and some members of the fraternity involved, and all of them declined to comment. What we do know is that the Kappa Sigma fraternity on the ISU campus in Normal is suspended through December 31st, 2025. According to ISU, the fraternity was found responsible for going against the Student Conduct Code. The school also cites members of Kappa Sigma for engaging in acts of dishonesty, damage to property, and unauthorized entry. ISU's Media Relations Office says they plan on working with the national organization in advance of the 2025 date to create a return agreement should they wish to be reinstated as a registered student organization.
From our Capitol newsroom, now the United States hit the debt limit this month, and it stands at $31.4 trillion. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill still have not reached a deal on the debt ceiling, and that's left state treasurers and comptrollers concerned, including Illinois Treasurer Michael Frerichs. They're calling on House Speaker Kevin McCarthy to take action. Officials signed a letter warning a default on the debt limit could have some very serious consequences for many people and businesses. That includes mortgage rates going up along with loans and payments for cars rising. They also say businesses could see an increase in borrowing costs, hurting economic growth.
Federal employees, recipients of government aid like Social Security, people on Medicare, Medicaid, those would be the most directly impacted. But everybody would feel a little bit of the bite.
Treasurer Michael Frerichs said in a statement, this is not about fiscal responsibility. This is about whether checks for Social Security recipients and Medicare benefits are paid. Extremist congressional Republicans are using this routine bipartisan procedure in an attempt to force cuts in Social Security, Medicare, and other programs. But congressional Republicans say they refuse to raise the debt ceiling without making major cuts in government spending.
Illinois has officially paid off the rest of its pandemic unemployment debt. Governor Pritzker signed a bill that did just that after it passed the General Assembly in November. The state borrowed more than $4 billion from the federal government during the pandemic, and that was meant to make sure the state had enough money to pay unemployment insurance benefits. Comptroller Susana Mendoza says she's been preparing in advance to pay the debt.
I've been setting aside money to be able to pay the $1.37 billion on day one, stopping the interest for Illinois taxpayers, and that's another thing I'm very proud of.
The law also sets aside $450 million for the state's trust fund.
Still to come, working to simplify vaccines. What the FDA decided today regarding getting your COVID-19 shots.
And temperatures reaching the mid-20s officially today. Here's a look at our almanac. Our high 26 came actually shortly after midnight. It remained much colder for the rest of the day. And we've picked up quite a bit of snow this week, and now we're above average for the season. Could there be more on the way? We'll have your forecast coming up next.
You're watching WMBD News, Central Illinois Proud, with Mark Welp, Shelby Roberts, Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates with your local weather authority forecast, and Kurt Pegler with sports. This is WMBD News at 10.